The air in the studio crackled with tension, a verbal cage match unfolding on live television that left viewers gripping their seats and political operatives scrambling. Angela Rayner, Labour's deputy leader, stepped into the ring with Andrew Neil, the grizzled veteran of political journalism whose razor-sharp questions have felled many a politician. This wasn't a polite exchange of ideas, it was a brutal, no-holds-barred interrogation that exposed cracks in Labour's armour and left Rayner reeling. From the opening bell, Neil came out swinging, his questions like precision jabs aimed at Labour's vulnerabilities. He didn't bother with pleasantries, diving straight into the party's shifting policies, hammering Rayner on why Labour seemed to be backtracking on key election promises. The accusations flew, U-turns, broken pledges, and a lack of clarity that critics have pounced on. Rayner tried to counter with Labour's narrative of championing working people, her voice steady at first, but Neil wasn't here for soundbites. He pressed harder, quoting her own past statements, wielding them like a prosecutor presenting damning evidence. The studio felt like a courtroom, and Rayner was on the stand, struggling to keep her balance. Neil's assault was relentless. He zeroed in on Labour's economic plans, demanding specifics. How would they fund their ambitious proposals without hiking taxes on the very voters they swore to protect? Numbers, sources, details. Neil wanted them, and he wanted them now. Rayner's responses, initially confident, started to fray. She leaned on broad strokes about Labour's vision, but Neil wasn't having it. Every dodge was met with a sharper question, every pivot countered with a demand for clarity. She tried to redirect, pointing to the Conservatives' years of austerity and mismanagement, but Neil was a bloodhound, dragging her back to the issue at hand. The frustration was palpable. Rayner's composed facade began to crack, her answers sounding more like deflections than solutions. You could almost feel the studio lights burning hotter as she squirmed under the pressure. Then came the moment that set the internet ablaze. Neil turned to immigration, a political landmine, and didn't hold back. He accused Labour of playing both sides, softening their rhetoric to appease one group while quietly holding firm on stricter policies to avoid alienating another. Rayner's response was a tangled mess of qualifiers and caveats, a politician's attempt to navigate a trap. Neil pounced, cutting through her words with a blunt demand. Was she avoiding a straight answer because she knew the truth would spark outrage? The camera caught her flinch, a fleeting moment of panic in her eyes. She tried to laugh it off, tossing out a quip about Neil's reputation as Britain's toughest interviewer, but the forced smile didn't land. Social media erupted, with viewers dissecting her body language, fidgeting hands, rapid blinks, a slight lean back. These were the tells of a politician under fire, and Neil, the old master, knew exactly how to exploit them. The interrogation didn't let up. Neil shifted to Labour's internal rifts, probing whether the party was truly united or if Rayner was just papering over growing divisions. He rattled off examples: public spats between senior Labour figures, MPs openly criticising the leadership, whispers of backbench rebellions. Rayner pushed back, her voice sharpening as she insisted Labour was cohesive, united in purpose. But Neil had receipts, citing specific disagreements on economic strategy, foreign policy, even climate commitments. He threw in a curveball, pulling out think tank data suggesting Labour's spending plans would balloon borrowing beyond what they'd admitted. Rayner's response, focusing on delivering results rather than playing with numbers, was a misstep. Neil seized it, accusing her of dodging the fiscal reality. The exchange was raw, unfiltered, and brutal, the kind of moment that makes political junkies lean closer to their screens. The final blow came when Neil turned personal, probing Rayner's leadership ambitions. She's always denied Ian Keir Starmer's job, but Westminster's rumour mill begs to differ. Neil didn't ask. He prodded, pointedly questioning if she'd step up if Starmer stumbled. The question hung like a guillotine. Rayner stuck to the script, pledging loyalty, but Neil wasn't done. So that's not a no, then, he shot back, and the silence that followed was deafening. Her eventual denial felt hollow, the hesitation already meme fodder online. Within minutes, X was flooded with clips, reactions pouring in like a tidal wave. Some praised Rayner for enduring Neil's onslaught, but most saw her as cornered, evasive, her credibility taking a hit. Neil, meanwhile, was hailed as a journalistic titan, his name trending as users marveled at his ability to dismantle any politician, regardless of party. This wasn't just an interview, it was a political earthquake. Labour's comms team is likely in crisis mode, dissecting every word to contain the fallout. The timing couldn't be worse. Labour is fighting to position itself as a steady alternative to a floundering Conservative government, with Nigel Farage's Reform UK stirring the pot and the Tories clawing for relevance. Rayner's performance, marked by hesitations and deflections, handed opponents a gift-wrapped attack ad. Her fidgeting, her forced laughs, the moments she stumbled, those images will be replayed, weaponized, and debated endlessly. Labour supporters will rally, claiming she held her ground against a notoriously tough interview, but even they'll admit privately this wasn't her finest hour. The fallout is already in motion. News channels are looping the highlights, pundits are picking apart every exchange, and X is a battleground of hot takes. This single interview could shift polls, fuel skepticism about Labour's competence, and amplify questions about their unity. Rayner's challenge now is damage control, turning this bruising encounter into a chance to show resilience. It'll take discipline, a tighter media strategy, and maybe a crash course in dodging Neil's lethal follow-ups. One thing's clear. Andrew Neil remains a force of nature, a journalist who can turn a routine interview into a defining moment. For Rayner, this was a trial by fire, and the scars will linger. The political world is buzzing, and her name is at the center of the storm. This is the kind of drama that doesn't fade quietly, and we'll be watching every move as the repercussions unfold.